a slight lead.
Also, the Ashanti Regional Police Command announced major breakthrough in security operations leading to the arrest of suspected armed robbers.
Plus, unemployed environmental health officers take to the streets to protest immediate recruitment. It's News Central live on TV3. I'm Kemini Amanor.
And I am Mawuena Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now. This afternoon, new polls by Global Info Analytics for the Bandai rerun election shows the NPP candidate Matthew Nyindam leads the race with 50%, while the NDC's candidate Daniel Insala-Wakpal attracts 46% of the vote. 1% say they will vote for Donko Eric Dipeni, while 3% are undecided. The latest poll says the race is statistically dead heat, as Honorable Nyindam's lead is within the poll's margin of error of plus or minus 3.9%. The poll shows that 2% of voters who voted for the Honorable Nyindam have switched their votes to Daniel Wakpal, but the same percentage have also switched from Wakpal to Nyindam. However, the poll also shows that 28% of voters who voted for Donko Eric Nipani have switched their votes to Matthew Nyindam, giving him a lifeline. On the performance of the now outside MP, the Honorable Nyindam, his short staying in the current parliament means 3% of the voters rated him excellently. 32% say he's been very good, 36% say average, and 29% say he's been poor, right? So overall, voters in the Bandai constituency believe Ghana is headed in the right direction, with 66% of them giving the country the nod that it's headed in the right direction, compared to the 26% who say that it's headed in the wrong direction, while 8% did not have an opinion. As to what all of this means in terms of the race for December 30 is what we're waiting for, and we're seeking to get details of. But we'll walk you through a bit more of this latest poll as well from Global Info Analytics and Mr. Dankwa as well. And we'll engage him pretty shortly because he described this as statistically dead heat because it falls within the margin of error of minus 3 or plus 3.9%. Means this pretty much could sway in any direction. But let's focus a bit more on who they will be seeking to vote for in this upcoming election. And this is what I was walking you through a lot earlier. And so this is what the poll says. 50% of respondents from the constituency, right, say that they are voting for Mr. Nyindam. 46% say that, look, we'll give it to Daniel Insala-Wakpal of the NDC. And remember, Matthew Nyindam is the member of parliament who, upon the ruling of the High Court, there was that letter from the Clerk of Parliament to the Electoral Commission that his seat was subsequently vacant. Hence, this rerun was necessary. Now, the undecided persons who are yet to make up their mind, 3%. Then there is a third candidate, Donko Eric, who is commanded at least 1% of the votes. Now, from what we see, if you're to add this to this, that puts you at 49%. That is arguing that all of the undecided voters decide to vote for Daniel Insala-Wakpal, which is more often than not the case, and it will go right down to the wire. But it does presuppose that Mr. Nyindam has a bit of a comfort in the lead. But he asked a question, Mr. Dankwa and the Global Info Analytics, they asked a very important question in the 2024 polls. Now, the polls which have subsequently been annulled, preempting this rerun, 50% of them said they voted for Matthew Nyindam. Now, 48% said they voted for Daniel Nsala Wakpal, and 2% did not disclose who it is they voted for. And so again, that leaves us with the question as to what really becomes of this poll and what the outcome of the elections would be. Musa Dankwa Alhaji is the executive director of Global Info Analytics. He's joining us on phone this afternoon as well for quick insight into what it is that we're seeing and how this plays out. Because he mentions there will be that last and final poll some 2 days to the elections, and that will pretty much cement either this or will change a lot of what it is that we're seeing right now. But Mr. Dankwa, I appreciate you speaking to us. Let's first start off with what you say is a statistical dead heat based on the polling result. Exactly what do you mean by that, and how does this augur for either of the candidates who are seeking to clinch this all-important seat?
We are saying heat because if you take into account the margin of error, which is 3.9, if you apply the margin of error to the NDC candidate, he gets 50%. If you apply it to the MPP candidate, he wins 54%. So at this point, anybody in the race could win it. But what is important to note is that it is good or better for you to be ahead than behind in any poll.
Right. And for you, what it is that we've seen play out based on some of the data or the results that's coming through, that 50% who say they are going to be voting for Mr. Nyindam, you ask them the same question as to who they voted for in the 2024 elections, and they say Mr. Nyindam again. Doesn't that pretty much point to a direction as to where this is headed?
You could say so. Remember, there was general lower turnout in the last election. So if the turnout could tilt in somebody's favor, for example, if you look at the data, about 48% of them said they are MPP voters, and 47% said they are NDC. So whoever is able to turn out more of their voters to come out and vote on the election day could have upper hand.
But I look at this, and then I also look at the question you asked as to in what direction the country is headed. We see that a vast majority of the respondents say the country is headed in the right direction with 66%, and as against the 29% who say it's headed in the wrong direction. That presupposes some goodwill for the NDC. How is that not translated into votes for their candidate?
That is the question we should be asking the NDC candidate. But it tells you that the MPP candidate is very strong. So despite the views of the people that things are going well, they like him, and they are saying they will vote for him. That is why he's leading by that 4% margin. Now, NDC has to figure out how they can utilize that advantage they have in the general perception of the country and the performance of the president to their advantage. It's for them to do that. But they have a window, whereas MPP too has a window.
I've poured a bit over the data, and within the party affiliations, from what it is you put out, there's a percentage of NPP supporters who have waned in terms of their support base for the candidate. Yet still, he continues to lead.
Yeah, I mean, we have people who cross party lines. You also see some NDC voting for MPP candidate and MPP voting for NDC candidate. The question is, what proportion, would that proportion be higher on election day, and for who? And that will determine, because if you have more MPP people switching their vote to NDC, or more NDC switching their vote to MPP candidate because he's good, then MPP could win the race. But for now, I think we are where we are today. It's a baseline poll. The final poll will be out 29th of this month, and we can tell you precisely who is likely to emerge as the winner.
That means that the card is still out there. The verdict is yet to be known. both parties have their work cut out for them as to what they must do to secure victory come December 30?
Yes, I mean, the ball is in their court. They have about 14, 15 days to sort things out. And I think those with the right messages and also resources down there will play a big role in who wins there.
My final question will center on the NPP and the focus being that they have a presidential primary on January 31. There is that rerun on the 30th. What will be your advice for the party in terms of a focus going into both very crucial elections and possibly determining the fate and the momentum they can begin to build towards the next major election?
You know, we don't advise political parties, but basically you must focus on the immediate battle, which is the Pandai rerun. When that is done, they can focus their attention on other things. But I think for now, they must be looking to increase their numbers to where it was before the seat was declared vacant.
Right, Mr. Dankwa, we'll leave it here, and I'm sure we'll come to you again when that final poll does come through. But that's Musa Dankwa. He's Executive Director of Global Info Analytics, providing a bit more insight into this set of data we've been walking you through. But we're not done with the subject matter of Pandai Kemini, are we?
Absolutely. We'll bring that a little later because we know one person has died from a bee attack in that part of the country, but we'll also understand from the NDC what their preparation is ahead of the December 30th rerun. In the meantime, West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, on Sunday threatened targeted sanctions on anyone obstructing Guinea-Bissau's return to civilian rule following last month's coup. The announcement came as presidents from across the region met in Nigeria for a biannual meeting whose agenda was dominated by two recent coup attempts, a successful military takeover in Guinea-Bissau and a failed one in Benin. President of the ECOWAS Commission, Omar Leo Toure, speaking to the media after the heads of states meeting, said the commission will be ruthless.
Well, for now we have two countries that are under military rules, which are members of ECOWAS, the Republic of Guinea and the Republic of Guinea-Bissau. For the Republic of Guinea, we are expecting a good elections, or at least elections on the 28th of this month, and we hope that will put an end to the transition that they have been in for the past 4 years. For the Republic of Guinea-Bissau, ECOWAS renews its total rejection of unconstitutional change of government and calls for an inclusive government that will reflect the political landscape as well as the society of Guinea-Bissau. And that is a point which is extremely important because you have some political actors who are out of the game, and ECOWAS insists that each and everyone be given the right to participate in the process of restoring the country to constitutional order. And regarding the fine balance between sanctions and the interests of the common person, ECOWAS is fully alert to this. And as I've said, the sanctions they are talking about are supposed to be targeted sanctions, but that's also conditional in the event the engagement fails or the dialogue fails. So it is going to be smart and targeted sanctions that they are in.
Now, away from that and back to Pandai, one person has reportedly lost his life after a swarm of bees attacked a meeting organized by the NDC ahead of the Pandai election rerun. The incident happened on Sunday, December 14, 2025, at a hospitality facility in Pandai.
The meeting was attended by the national organizer of the governing National Democratic Congress, Joseph Yamin. Deputy General Secretary Mustafa Gbandi, Deputy National Communications Officer Godwin Akogan, and the Pandai NDC constituency candidate Daniel Insala Wakpal. The engagement with the party supporters in the constituency was to resolve a existing feud between the parliamentary candidates Daniel Insala Wakpal and the constituency party executives. This was aimed at building a formidable front to maximize the candidates' fortunes going to the parliamentary election rerun. The national executives also used the opportunity to lobby their grassroots.
Before in 2024, even though it was not the right vote. And looking at Ablukuma, Gadget, Abuja, Kapapa, Banda, other constituencies will follow.
Support the branch here, we are ready to give you that support. Same like you are ready to give you the support to win. So and Obi Eyana Green, sorry MPP Eboko and Dakrana, Obeka Koye MPP Ejuma, Obeka Koye Olike Biechire, and I do Obeka Koye campaign Etiaye.
However, midway through the mediation processes, a swarm of bees invaded the auditorium and stung participants. The incident disrupted the meeting and abruptly ended it as all participants fled to seek cover. However, this man, who was at the time escaping the attack riding pillion, was stung by the bees to death after the rider allegedly abandoned the motorbike and fled. His remains has been deposited at a morgue at Ketekrachi in the Oti region. Nana Kweku Philip is the Pandai NDC youth organizer.
Some of them happens to park their motors and cars and other things somewhere opposite where we held the meeting. But we didn't know there was or there is a stand of beans over there. So when they went there to pick their motorbikes and other things, they were sparking the motors, and the smoke and the noise of their machines and other things made the beans to scatter. When they scattered, the people who were still there, they were chasing them. Then Akwasi decided to run to the bush. The beans followed Akwasi to the bush, but then they let Nana Akwasi to the bush. But because the bees were chasing people, he tried to come back to the roadside. The way they covered his face and other areas, when he decided to cross the gutter, he fell in the gutter again. When he fell, he managed to get up. He was running. Then they were still chasing him and here and there. So the disturbed him, and finally he fell.
He said although the party is mourning the loss of their comrade, they remain resolute in their determination to win back the seat for the NDC.
Well, now let's connect with Mustafa Gbandi, who's Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, as we discuss their preparedness ahead of the December 30 rerun. Mustafa, good afternoon to you. Our sympathies on the loss of your comrades, but we've just been hearing a narration or a recount of what took place on that fateful day. But for clarity's sake, did this happen at the meeting grounds or after the meeting?
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon to our cherished listeners. First of all, we've had meetings upon meetings in Bandai. in our bid to ensure that we recapture the seat. It's our seat, and we are going to win that seat. Now, when we had a meeting at the same venue, this incident never happened. But what is behind the account of what you are hearing is that the MPP and their candidate, Honorable Martin Ndam, had allegedly imported 3 malams from Niger. And these malams were stationed in a hotel somewhere close to where we did the meeting. So after we had finished the meetings and we left, there were few people on the ground, and then they invoked the bees to come and attack them. If you live in the Panda area, of course you will know that the bees are a weapon for us, the Northerners from that area. And so if you were having to go for an election, you are not going to war. Why would you invoke bees to come and attack your opponent? The conference
Mustafa,
will be holding a press conference to give a one-on-one account of what exactly really happened. But I'm saying that allegedly the school of thought is that they, the MPP, are responsible for this.
I see. So again, Mustafa, hear me out.
Yes.
So you didn't see this happen. You didn't see any Malam invoke bees to attack your comrades. You didn't see any member of the NPP consult a Malam to do that for them, and so we cannot say that here. Let's agree on that and move on.
I am giving you an account of what is happening
no, Mustafa, it is not first-hand account. I cannot allow you to go on and say that here.
You cannot have evidence of spiritual attack.
No, it's much more than that. You cannot give us proof that
So
it is the
basis,
NPP that is responsible for that.
You need fiscal proof, and I don't have.
No, what you can. Mustafa, hear me out. Hear me out, or we can have the most important part of the conversation. What I'm saying is that you can't tell us.
From me.
No. You can go ahead and tell us that this was a mystical. Excuse me.
Let's make progress. I will withdraw that statement. But I still stand to what I have said. I will withdraw it.
I appreciate the withdrawal. I appreciate the withdrawal. Now let's make progress.
I'm saying that this was an account of what we believe took place.
Very well.
I withdraw that because you want empirical evidence, and I cannot give you an empirical evidence. The MPP people, as far as Panda is concerned, knows what I'm talking about.
You are withdrawing because you don't know for sure that the NPP is responsible for this.
I know for sure, but it's like when you say somebody is a witch, you cannot go and produce scientific evidence to back it. So let me leave you from that conversation, but this is what I stand to. But you see, the reality
I see, Mustafa, let's talk about the election. Rerun on December 30th, right?
We the MPP, with the NDC, are ready to go into that election in good faith because the reflection of the euphoria of President Mahama's good governance as compared to what we experienced under President Akufo-Addo. You and I lived in this country when people were looking for water to drink, but yet the MPP imported rocks from Israel in the name of building a national cathedral, which rendered all of us in a national fraud. At the back of it, the spillover is that Pandai people are still suffering for water. They are still suffering for better education. They are still suffering for development. So we are going in there to tell the people of Pandai that what is happening to the MPP resonates across the country, because if the judiciary, the institution of state, does not fully punish the MPP for what they have done, then same must be done civilly in terms of voting. Every community that gets an opportunity must punish the MPP for what they have done against the people of Ghana.
I see.
And that is what we are going to tell the Bandai people, and we have started telling them.
Mm-hmm.
I know you are going to ask me, what about these polls that they have
Absolutely.
done?
So allow me ask you. That's why what you have said. Musa Danko's poll says that the MPP candidate is in a slight lead ahead of yours.
Yes. In the face of quality campaigning and voter education, every respondents to this thing that have is subject to change their mind. Because what they believed, if they thought Martin Ndam is our brother, we are from the same home, as long as Nsala is concerned. But the problem is that there is no political dividend. There is no good justifiable reason why you should keep Martin Ndam in parliament at a time when the minority itself is of no effect to either lawmaking process or the business of parliament. Number two, in terms of development, there is no business going to have, an MP who cannot lobby, who cannot influence, because MPs are actors of developmental influence. And if you have an MP who cannot add anything, why would you wait and waste your time bringing that person to parliament? At a time where President Mahama has taken the bold step to develop Ghana irrespective of where you are, which tribe you are, and where you are coming from, as opposed to what Nanado did. Nanado told all of us that he will not develop certain places because they didn't vote for him. President Mahama has come, and the evidence of what we live with is that he is developing Ghana across board. Even projects that President Nanado have done, that we believe could inure to the benefit of Ghanaians, President Mahama is continuing those projects. In one project, it goes to Nanado's hometown. They awarded that contract and chopped the money. President Mahama is continuing that project. Free education was their program. We believe that free education is better for the people of Ghana if implemented well. Honorable Harun Egrusu is implementing it well with quality interventions that will improve on quality education. When you go to Temamoto Way, President Mahama is doing the same. Now we are going to Christmas. Last year by this time, the amount of money you needed to buy a bag of rice and cooking oil. Panda is a farming community, and that when they farm the yam and they are bringing it, the biggest headache for them is transportation. As we speak, fuel prices have come down, they know it. Cost of rice have come down, cost of oil have come down, and plus President Mahama is going to build a bridge on the Dambai River, which connects all of us from the north into Volta region and Accra. It makes transportation very easy. How will you go and bring Martin Ndam, who have lied to the people in the last election that they and Nanado, they are Gen Zs, they would develop Panda supersonically, only to do nothing and defrauded the people with one village, one dam. They took that money. I see. They didn't do it. One district, one factory. When you are going to Dambai, they constructed a pavilion there. I was going to the village. Nanado drove over 52 Land Cruisers to the place with one carrying a chair. They went to commission that pavilion in the name of one district, one factory. 2 days after, when I was returning, all the machines were moved to Accra. Go to the place. It's an empty place. Pandai is the same story. Willensi is the same story. Salaga is the same story. But you know that those of us from the north, one of the things that confront us is deprivation in terms of education, in terms of development, and in terms of infrastructure. Yesterday when we met the chiefs, they actually came to cry that in 2016, the benevolence of President Mahama built a school infrastructure in one of their villages. President Nanado abandoned it for 8 years, and the school is still standing in the bush, whilst young people in Pandai are looking for places to go to school. All of these will contribute to the election result in the Pandai constituency. Very well, Mustafa. NDC is telling you and I, they are telling you in Accra, that it is NDC that is campaigning contrary to a court process. But let me tell you, they are in Pandai. Matthew, as I speak, is campaigning. The MPP have sent their leadership to go and do recognizance. Politically, they know it's not helping them. So whatever they are doing is to cause a delay so that they can repair anything on the ground. It's not going to work. We are already campaigning. The place, we don't have an MP.
Very well, Mustafa. I mean, obviously, the NDC is preparing in Pandai, but one of the things that the constituents have been worried and concerned about is security. Now that there's been an incident that the NDC believes is a mystical attack on the party, it begs the question as to what the NDC is doing to ensure that there won't be any incidents or further incidents of what could be considered reprisal attacks.
Well, the laws of Ghana didn't contemplate spiritual attacks. So spiritual attacks cannot be offensive on anybody. And I can assure you that where the NDC will win, they can't be violent. They cannot be violent in that area. Number two, the government of President Mahama have made it possible for even the MPP to feel Ghanaian. And so we will not go anywhere where we feel that it's just political expedience to be violent without taking cognizance with the community. The MPP and the NDC have lived in Kwanda very peacefully. We grew together, Matinyinda, we all grew together. So it is not today that we are going to fight. Be it as it may, the two candidates, Nsala of NDC, who is going to win the election, and Martin Yindam, are from the same home. The two of them are Konkombe. We are just looking for the one who will engineer development better than the other. It is not about the humanity, the human being, the personality of my brother Martin Yindam. It is the political circumstances we find ourselves and the circumstances his party finds itself. That when you vote an MPP candidate in Kwanda today, you are not going to be able to influence the impact politically, particularly that the MPP lived 8 years in that constituency, and the only big infrastructure that you see physically is a party office. Their party office is bigger than any building in Kwanda. Nothing more, nothing else. So we rest assured that there won't be any security. I trust the police. We have gone to Akotia with them. There was peace there. We have gone to other places. There was peace. Akotia was an improvement from Ablekumanov. You all saw the improvement. So I'm not afraid of security issues. So we are going there. If they decide that it is these that they will use to worry us, we all know what it is. So we'll deal with it and go for the election.
I appreciate your time with us this afternoon. Mustafa Gbandi is Deputy General Secretary of the NDC.
Now, scores of unposted environmental health officers and assistants have today taken to the streets, demonstrating and demanding an end to years of unemployment and neglect, despite being trained and duty licensed to protect public health. Marching from the Independence Square, the officers are calling for their immediate posting, unemployment, formal recognition of their profession, and the absorption of trained graduates from the School of Hygiene. Let's take you right now to the protest ground where my colleague Noble Crosby Annan is stationed for us. Crosby, where are they currently? What more have they been saying along this march? It presupposes Crosby cannot hear us at this point in time. Crosby, I'm asking where the demonstrators are and what more they've been saying.
Right, Mawuena, so if you can hear me, at the moment we are at the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. This is the second destination of these group of people who are demonstrating and submitting petitions to the authorities. Earlier they were at the Ministry of Finance, where they presented a petition to the Director of Administration, who says that the ministry takes their concerns very seriously and he will forward it to the appropriate quarters for the right actions to be taken. From the Ministry of Finance, the group marched to the Ministry of Local Government. Here they have been met with by the Minister for Local Government himself. He says that he left a meeting at the Kempinski Hotel or at the Alisa Hotel to meet with the demonstrators here because he puts premium on their concerns and they are very important people. What they are asking for is very little. They are saying that for the past 5 years they have left school. They came from 3 schools across the region, in the Greater Accra region, in Tamale and Ho in the Volta region. The number about 3,000, and they are asking that they be posted, that they be given work to do. They say that what angers them the most is that if you go to the various districts, there are very few numbers of trained people like them at the various regions, the various districts. Techiman, for instance, with a population of over 200,000, there are less than 40 trained sanitation officers there. They say it is not acceptable and they want government to post a lot more of them so that they can contribute together to help make Accra the cleaner city, to help make Ghana very clean. You know that the government has launched a Sanitation Day initiative. This week, as I'm talking to you, is a National Sanitation Week that is ongoing and they don't understand why these initiatives will be ongoing, but the people who are trained to handle these things are not engaged, are not employed to take charge of the situation. I have with me a few of the demonstrators, a few of the students, a few of the, well, former students. They're now graduates, but they're still unemployed. Let's engage with them and speak to them and find out what is really motivating them beyond the desire to be employed and beyond their wish to contribute to a sanitation solution. Thank you. You're live on TV. Talk to me. You were very vocal today. What is motivating you?
Actually, we went to the school just to serve the country. I, for instance, I was eager, or I saw one action carried out by Okovanda on the same sanitation issues. I didn't know of any sanitation school. I asked, and then I was directed to School of Hygiene in Kolebu. Okay. So we went there just to come out and serve the country. As you can look, there's a pickup there, my environment, your responsibility. Another one, join the movement, National Sanitation Day. And we have been trained, who is to join more than hygiene students? It's we. Right. You see, what I'm saying is that for a military man to jump into a battlefield, leaving the weapons in the house, is what is happening in Ghana. Because you can't fight sanitation issues when, in effect, we, the graduates, are there. We that we have been trained, we have been groomed, we have the technical knowledge to carry out all these things. You just neglect us. We went to finance. The first thing that annoyed us was that we've not given any letter. Meanwhile, we did. Showing that anything that we do, you don't even take it into seriousness. So all these things, just at the Ghana is what is controlling us. Right, thank you. Our mind is just to save Mother Ghana. Okay. Ghana needs sanitation officers. You need sanitation officers. Everyone needs us. In fact, Ghana is not happy. Why am I saying so? Because many lives are being going out. Right. People die in and day out because of cholera, typhoid. All these things are environmental related diseases, and we can do this. We practice the preventive service, not curative. Doctors cannot say what we are doing. Nurses cannot do what we are doing because we know how to handle them. Okay. We can handle and we can prosecute them. The 100 prosecutors that they said, we are the immediate future prosecutors, right, but we are being neglected. Thank you.
So he says that they are being neglected. Let me speak to another lady here. You're also part of the group, and what has been the level of engagement the group has had with the ministry? With the state?
The fact is that this is not our first time. We've done demonstration in Tamale. We sent letters to the local ministry. We sent letters to the finance ministry.
When was that? Which period was that?
Just within last year and this year. Okay. And the fact is that we've been sitting in the house since 2021. You can imagine, since 2021, you are sitting in the house. We are now even looked down upon because we can't render any support to our families. We can't do anything. Even if it is salt that I have to ask for money to buy that salt. You see, so it's so frustrating to sit in the house for 5 good years. And the fact is that I'm in my 30s. And in my 30s, how many years do I have to work? And then I'll go for retirement. And I'm even still in the house, left with on my fate. I don't know. So the fact is that it's like we environmental health officers, the school is just there for nothing. They don't recognize us. We have to fight for our allowance. We have to fight for postings. We have to fight for almost everything. If the government know that the schools of hygiene are not important, then they should close down the school. Okay. So, yes. Thank you. At the moment, I see a few of the leaders. They went, Mawuena, if you can indulge me, they went into a closed-door meeting with the minister, and they just came out. So let's speak with them and then find out what the outcome of that particular meeting was. They went into the meeting after the minister received their petition. Thank you. You're live on TV3. You went into a meeting with the minister. What happened?
All right. So far, the minister has assured us that he has heard our petition. So he will be presenting it to cabinet latest by 23rd December. So we are just hoping that he does what we want. I mean not him, but the government does what we want, because it's high time we prioritize sanitation in our country. Even though we are prioritizing sanitation, but it is not sanitation. Like, we can't do it without environmental health and sanitation officers, which is the tankers. Okay. Yes, please. So we just hope the minister does what
he has promised to do, or the government. That's what they've promised.
So one of your leaders says that they hope the minister does what he has promised to do. But for you and for the group itself, are you confident in the assurances that the minister is giving to you?
Yes, we have at least 50-50% sure, because in this country, you know, our politicians sometimes they speak and then they don't.
So there's still some doubt somewhere.
They say some doubt somewhere, but for what he's saying, he said that 23rd they are going for cabinet meeting and he will put it there. But then this year, there is no budget for us this year. But once sanitation is a national issue and the president is interested in this National Sanitation Day or sanitation, he will table it out, and it can be possible if within 2026 we can get the postings. But if not that, it means 2026 we won't get postings like that. So we are hoping and waiting to hear from him. He said 23rd. 23rd we'll give time some time to see by January what will be the response. They said they will invite us to brief us on it. So we are waiting. We are waiting on them.
Thank you. Thank you. So the message is simple, that they're keeping their fingers crossed, that hopefully the minister will act on his word and government will, employ them. The finance minister will give clearance, they will be employed, and then they would contribute sustainably to Ghana's sanitation solution. So Mawuena, that has been at the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Back to you.
Crosby, thank you very much. Noble Crosby Annan is my colleague from the Local Government Ministry for us this afternoon. You take us on to our very first break. When we return, a bit more stories for you here on News Central. Please to stay with us.
Flamingo paint has great hiding ability to cover and transform old walls easily with just one coat.
Impressive. For me, as a professional painter, I love
Welcome back. It's still News Central here on TV3. I'm Kemini Amanor. Now let's go back to our earlier story on ECOWAS and happenings within the sub-region of West Africa. We'll connect now with international relations expert and senior research fellow at the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Dr. Yao Gebe. Doc, I appreciate your time this afternoon, but when we look at the major conflict zones and security crisis on the continent, particularly in the sub-region, are these likely to dominate President Mahama's takeover of ECOWAS as chair?
Your line is rather bad. I can barely hear you.
Very well. I'll try it again. I'm asking, looking at some of the developments that have taken place on the continent, particularly also of the sub-region West Africa, do you expect that it will dominate President Mahama's agenda as AU chair?
Dominate what?
The president's agenda as the AU chair.
Well, thank you very much. I have already complained that the line is not good, that we will do our best. Certainly, Africa is currently in the midst of quite a number of negative developments. Issues pertaining to economic development, conflicts, war, terrorism, so a new chairman of the African Union definitely will be facing a lot of challenges and difficulties. But you cannot pretend that you are not aware of these and therefore everything is fine. The chairman must pick up and face these challenges, completely and thoroughly in order to help the union to bring peace, tranquility, development onto the continent. If you take West Africa, for instance, the number of coups d'etat that we have had, you end up talking about or mentioning about 5 or 6 different countries. And it doesn't help us. And then the issues of terrorism, Nigeria and its environment, I'm talking of Chad, Cameroon, Central African Republic, those are issues for any new chairman of the African Union. And the issues in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the continuous civil war, civil conflict, and some of its neighbors, particularly Rwanda, Uganda, they are all intervening in this, involved in this. So it's a lot of work for a new chairman of the African Union.
I mean, what are the likely challenges to his ability to be able to do this?
He must be willing and ready to coordinate with his other, heads of state and government. It's not a type of job that he thinks that he can do by himself. There is a high level of coordination between and among the other heads of state. And currently the African Union has approved of a number of regional economic blocks of organizations, including ECOWAS, SADC, COMESA, IBEC, and what have you. So the leadership of these regional economic communities must be willing and ready to cooperate with the African Union and seek solutions to the challenges that I've already mentioned. 2, we need financial assistance, we need financial support. And African leaders, African governments are normally not willing to pay their dues to the African Union. You cannot operate without financing. So that's another major problem. Because if you talk about interventions in civil conflict, the kind of challenges we are having currently, we need money, we need funds. That's another issue that is coming up. And then 2, the democratic elections, I don't know what is happening. Some of these African leaders who don't want to give up, you've been defeated in an election, the next thing is to hand over peacefully. But they'll sit tight and are not willing to do it. And it creates a problem. The next thing you have coup d'etat occurring on the continent. So that's a number of challenges that a new chairman of the African Union will be facing.
I see. We'll leave it here. Thank you so much for talking to us. International relations expert, Dr. Yao Gebe there. We'll now turn attention to some other stories now, Mawuena.
Now, the Department of Urban Roads in the Ashanti region has announced the commencement of emergency repair works on the Kasi Timber Bridge, a key route connecting several industrial and residential communities in Kumasi. This follows several calls by motorists to restore the integrity of the 10-year-old bridge and ensure the safety of motorists and pedestrians who rely heavily on the stretch. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar is joining us with a bit more in terms of the details from there. Ibrahim, I appreciate you joining us. Talk to us about the importance of this stretch and what the current state of the bridge is.
Okay, so Mawuena, this is a stretch that connects in that to many cities in Kumasi. And it even links to Anyang Kwanta Road to the central and western regions of the country. So it is a very, very important link for motorists in the Ashanti region. However, part of the bridge have developed deep cracks and need immediate fixing because every day, day in, day out, or I would say even every 30 minutes, you realize that heavy-duty vehicles use that bridge. And the fear is that it may cave in if nothing is being done to salvage the situation. So currently it has been awarded to contract. From last week, contractors have come to site to assess the situation. Tomorrow, they will be blocking the bridge for the work to begin. So it will span for a period of 3 months, and they are hoping that by March, they will be able to work on this situation. But currently, the traffic that it has generated on the road is quite serious, and motorists are just hoping that now that the work is starting, it should be done expeditiously so that they wouldn't be in this traffic for a long time. Let's listen to what some of the motorists has been saying.
Ibrahim, we'll have to listen to that subsequently, but as always, I appreciate you being a part of the bulletin. That's my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar joining us this afternoon. Now, away from that, employees of DP World Ghana, a leading global logistics and trade enabling company, embarked on a voluntary cleanup exercise at Accra's Polo Beach on December 11. According to the team, the initiative forms part of the company's broader commitment to environmental stewardship and its drive to promote a cleaner, safer, and more sustainable Ghana.
World Ghana has elevated its corporate social responsibility efforts, turning its annual cleanup initiative into a consistent contribution toward environmental sustainability. Each year, the company selects a community to support through a major cleanup exercise, and for 2025, the chosen location was Accra's Polo Beach. The Group Managing Director for the Consumer Division of West Africa, Vika Singh, noted that such community-focused initiatives are central to DP World's mission of ensuring that the environment in which they operate benefit.
Beach cleaning is not only our social responsibility, it is also a responsibility of each individual to ensure that the planet is sustained for the long term. We at DP World of a clear core belief that sustainability is the way forward, and by doing this beach cleaning today, we are showcasing our commitment to a sustainable planet for the future.
Vinay Kapoor is the Managing Director of DP World Market Access Healthcare, Ghana.
I would encourage everybody to come forward, help this cause, not as a company, as an individual. Even if you're walking around, not even the beach, the street, roadside, you see something, just pick it up, put it at the right place into the garbage, save the environment, save the world, save the planet, because this is what we give it to them and the planet gives it back to us. The rule of the sea is if you put something inside the sea, it gives it back to you.
Go for another break here on News Central. Return and take the show home. Stay with us. That's our package for you today, a start of a new week. I am Mawuena Egbeta.
Almost the holiday season.
10 days actually.
10 days.
It's 10 days away. 9 days from Christmas Eve. But 10 days to
Christmas Day.
Actually, yeah.
We'll be here with you.
It's not like you have an option. Hey, unless you'll be running away.
We won't talk about that yet.
All right.
We'll see you same time tomorrow. My name is Kemini Amanor. Bye-bye.
Friday, yeah.